Hey, I'm Jeff. Welcome to my basement. Today we're going to learn Bad Moon Rising by Credence Clearwater Revival. A few years ago I posted a play-along video of this song and I was playing a note wrong, and several of you pointed that out. And so first of all, thank you for pointing it out because I was able to fix it. So I thought I would teach a lesson on the song and kind of explain why what I was playing was wrong and what the right note to play is. So a couple of disclaimers before we get started. I don't claim this to be a note-for-note transcription of the song, but it's pretty close. I generally learn quite a few songs because I play bass in several cover bands and do some fill-in gigs, so I often have to learn a lot of songs quickly. So I generally learn the overall feel of the song and then improvise. But this version is pretty close to the original. So number two, I'm going to mainly use the note names to communicate what I'm playing. I will give fret numbers for reference. And this is not a knock against tab. I do use tab myself. Like I said, I have to learn a lot of songs quickly sometimes, so I do use tab from time to time. But I do feel like you should know what you're playing and why you're playing it. If the only knowledge you have is being able to play to tab and counting frets, then I think you're limiting yourself as a musician. But this channel is all about growing as a musician and becoming a better musician, so I'm going to use the note names with some fret numbers just for reference, so you know where I'm playing, just in case it's not clear. Alright, so a little bit about the song before we get into it. The song was recorded in 1969. It's on Credence's Green River album. The original bass player is Stu Cook, and I'm a big fan of Stu's playing. He played on most of the Credence stuff, and was a great example of a bassist who was not flashy, but really held down the groove and played to the song. And I feel like the bass player's role in the band is generally to be the canvas that the song is painted on. And you know, there's times to step out front and be a little flashy, but for the most part I like to hold down the groove and really kind of just, you know, keep the song together. I feel like that's our role as bass players in the band generally. Alright, so the song is in D major. So what do we mean by that? It's using the notes from the D major scale. So let's run through the D major scale real quick. So start on the 5th fret of the A string. That's our most convenient D note here. So we've got D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, the octave D. And that's, D is our root note, or the 1. The E is the 2, F sharp is the 3rd, G is the 4th, A is the 5th, B is the 6th, C sharp is the 7th, and then the octave or 8th is D again. So if you remember from any music classes you may have had, do re mi, that's do re mi. So those are the only 7 notes we are going to use in the song. Like I said, the song is pretty straightforward. So it's 3 chords, D, A, and G. So the intro and the verse both use the same repeating chord progression. The chord progression is 2 beats of D, 1 of A, and 1 of G. And I'm playing the A on the 5th fret of the E string, the G on the 3rd fret. And then the second measure of the pattern is all D. So it's 4 beats of that. So it's basically now you could play just the root notes and that would be fine, but we want to spice it up just a little bit. So we're going to add in a different pattern when we get to that second measure where everyone's staying on D. But to spice it up a little bit, we're going to throw in kind of a country bass line feel to that. If you've listened to any classic country, you've heard the 1-5 bass line. It's called 1-5 bass line because it's the 1, or the root, in our case D, and then the 5, which in the key of D, the 5 is the A. So D, A, D, And that's a little country pattern. So we're going to throw that into that second measure. So in that case, it's, and that spices the bass line up a little bit more. But we want to add just a little bit more spice to it. So when we play that last A, to get back to the D, we're going to walk up our major scale to get there. So let's go back to our major scale. So D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. So B, C sharp, and D, or B and C sharp is between A and D. Now this up here is too high. We don't want to play them up here. But we can play them down here on the A string. So we've got the B here on the second fret, C sharp on the fourth fret, and then our D on the fifth fret. So what that sounds like is, so a quick tip on that, to avoid having to move and stretch from this A here on the E string down here to this B, because that's a little bit of a stretch, I like to play that last A as the open A string. So that way, instead of just, it allows me to kind of keep my hand in one spot and not move around too much. And on a dark stage, that comes in handy, because that way you know where your notes are. So basically the way I play it is, so a quick note on what I was playing wrong in my original playthrough video. When I was doing that walk up from A to D, instead of playing A, B, C sharp, D, I was playing C. So I was walking up. I was giving it more of a minor feel. I won't go too deep into this, but basically the difference between the major scale and the minor scale is your third and your seven is flat in your minor scale. So instead of D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, D minor is D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. So your third goes down half a step and your seven goes down half a step to go from major to minor. So I was giving the song a minor feel when it's in major. So that was my mistake, and I totally own it. So, all right. So when we go to the chorus, the progression changes, and the first chord of the first chord of the chorus is G. So I play that one. I play it up here on the D string, the fifth fret of the D string, and we'll get to why in just a moment. You'll understand why. So it's the chord progression is G, D, A, G, and I play the second G back here on the third fret of that E string. But we're also gonna add a little spice going into the chorus. We're gonna walk from our D up to G. So if you think about how do we get from D to G? Well, D, E, F sharp, G. All right. Well, we got E and F sharp. So yeah, and we could use these notes up here. You know, we could use this E here on the seventh fret. But to make it a little easier, same way we did with going A, B, C sharp here on the A string, we're going to play the D note on the open D here, E on the second fret, F sharp here on the fourth, and then G on the fifth. And that's why I play that first G up here. All right, so we're in the chorus, we've walked up to our G here, and we're going to bring back the country 1-5 pattern. But since we're on the G chord, the 5 of G is D. So we're going to play the D up here on the, so still same pattern. And then we're going to go we need to walk from our G up here to our D. So we're going to use our same walk we were using earlier. The A, B, C sharp, D. Country 1-5 pattern in D. And now we need to walk from D up here to our A. So go back to our major scale. We've got D, E, F sharp, G, A. So between D and A, we've got E, F sharp, and G. Well, a better place to play them and to fit within how we're playing everything else is up here on the E string. So we got E, F sharp, G, and then to our A here. So basically we go from the D, and this is where there's a bad moon on the rise. That's where you get that A to G, same pattern from the verse. So let me throw it all together so you can kind of hear the whole chorus all together. So that's the chorus. So really, that's all you need to play Bad Moon Rising. Just listen to the song and to figure out exactly how many times to play through the verse and the chorus, but those are the two pieces that you need to play it. So if this was helpful, please hit the like button below, leave me a comment, leave a suggestion for more songs, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be putting out more lessons. I'm going to be putting out some other content related to being in a cover band, being a bass player, being a better musician. Really, I'm on a journey to become a better musician, and I've always heard that one of the best ways to learn is to teach others. So I'm going to bring you along on my journey and try to become a better musician and teach others along the way. So if you want to join me on that journey, hit the subscribe button, and thank you very much.